Hey guys, Brad here at Legendary Auto Salon. I wanted to do a real rudimentary rundown on paint correction. That's what this little box of boxes I've drawn behind me is. So, okay, what do we got, Brad? So this is like a cross-section representation I have drawn of your car's paint. So this base layer, think of it like a cake, right? This base layer is your substrate. It's whatever the panel is that the paint is on, okay? For the first cars that came out, they were just this. And then they were like, man, these things are oxidizing and rusting. What are we gonna do to prevent that? And I'm pretty sure Ford came up with the idea to cover that substrate with black paint. That's why all the original Fords were all black. So they covered it in paint. And then over time, they were like, man, I hate that my car is the same color as everybody else's. Let's get colorful and have different options of this protection on the substrate. We're gonna come up with a whole mess load of beautiful paints. But in order to do that, we need to protect that paint because that's oxidizing and causing problems as well. So we're gonna develop a system of multi-part paint where we top the paint with clear. That's the modern paint system. Say modern, but there are a few manufacturers that still use a single stage, which is the paint and the clear together. But for most part, most vehicles are multi-stage. They're a clear coat, a paint on top of a substrate. So that's the basics to your layers of your cake, your paint cake. So what is paint correction then? All right, so let's say you're washing your car at the automatic car wash and that abrasive destroyer of cars comes through and it puts in scratches and swirls and spider webs all through the surface of your clear coat. And in a cross section, they're just little cuts in the clear coat. So what happens to the light, you know, what was previously hitting the clear coat and reflecting right back, in that reflection, you're not losing light. It's coming back to your eye. It's very clear. But when it's hitting all these swirls, it's bouncing the light all over the place, and that's what gives your paint a dull appearance. So what we do is we come through and machine, compound, and polish down an upper layer of this clear coat until we refine it to the level that we discussed to try to remove as many or all of those scratches and swirls so that your clarity and the light is bouncing right back to your eye and it looks really, really glossy and shiny. Now, what happens when somebody keys your car or you get damage that goes through this clear coat? It cuts down into the paint. Well, we can't chase that down into the paint or otherwise we burn the clear coat and it doesn't look good and it doesn't have any clear. So that's why when we have an expectation discussion during a consultation, there are certain scratches and certain swirls and certain things that if you've done to your car through damage, it's damage, that cannot be repaired. Especially if it's going down all the way down to the substrate. I mean, that's and a rule of thumb tends to be if you can snag it with a fingernail, it's way too deep. If you can see white or whatever the color of the substrate is, it's way too deep. It's pretty clear that if light's bouncing back from down there, it's all the way through the clear, right? So we don't put paint on, we actually take clear coat off. And that's the reason why it's important for us to not only protect a clear coat that's in great shape, because you know there's a life expectancy to this clear, and only so much that it's going to protect against. And previously we would use waxes, but you had to keep reapplying those. So we put on a ceramic coating, or we recommend that we put on a ceramic coating. And the ceramic coating is a semi-permanent or permanent layer on the top of that that's going to bond covalently, which basically means that the molecules are going to share parts of themselves with the clear coat. They have a makeup that is designed to latch on, and it shares that surface, and it essentially extends your clear coat out. So when we do extensive paint correction to do repairs to make your car look really clear, the more protection we can put back on to match the amount that we have taken off, the better. And that's why we make recommendations that we do. So I hope that clears up a little bit about paint correction. I can go into more detail on this. I just don't want to get too nerdy on it and blow minds. But that's the basics. Any questions? Drop a comment, send us a message. Brad, Legendary Auto Salon, let's transform your car into its best version. Have a great day.